Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Wednesday, the 11th of June 2025, the year BSV comes alive. Branch your threads, expand your mind with treechat.ai or your post put on chain. Right, let's see what we've got today. We're just going to go through some posts that are on my Twitter thread here because there's quite a bit of juicy stuff going on that we've got to catch up on. We've got some most here from Captain BSV with regard to the Senkora saga. What's going on? I've got some posts here from CSW that we'll go through because they're always like juicy. Some articles here from CoinGeek, articles here from Cointelegraph. Oh yeah, Bitcoin treasuries, Michael Saylor, and then like a whale putting a 20x long on BTC. You know, the powers that be will probably make sure that gets liquidated pretty quick. We'll have a quick look at the figures, some 365 days of Bitcoin history, and then that'll be the end of the show. Right, let's get into it.
Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, and transactions flying free. Just wait for the Terra node, you'll surely see.
Alrighty, here we go. Right, looking forward to getting into that. We'll get into Captain VSB's bits in just a minute, but we'll start off with this one. So this was Justin Bones. I think I've actually got him blocked, but he said here, check this out: crypto only wins through use cases, usage and revenue. Oh, surprise, surprise! Like it's 2025 and he's only just figured this out. Like, it just goes to show you how us genuine Bitcoiners are literally miles ahead. Miles ahead. It's a shame we're not sort of miles ahead in terms of financially because we're all enjoying being poor at the moment in compared to this lot. But, you know, it's going to be a massive pig squeeze when they start piling in. You know, literally, as I've said before, speculation is subjective, whereas utility is undeniable. And they're only just starting to realise that. Like, whoa. So it continues, he said, that is the only way we empower humanity with this technology. It must be useful. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Otherwise, it is only another mere speculative plaything for the rich and powerful. Ponzi scheme. No one's going to win really apart from the exchanges. Crypto is money and finance, decentralized and permissionless. So again, I mean, they're still going on about these terms, decentralized and permissionless, because they haven't figured out that what it actually is a commodity. And a commodity has to have a use case and an economic model in order for it to be valuable. I mean, these boys are years behind on actually understanding this technology and the economics behind it. They have absolutely no clue. Like decentralized, I mean, that term decentralized has been going around since 2009. Yeah, and they haven't changed their tune. Still banging the drum. Oh, decentralized, permissionless, uncensorable. Now, what's an absolute load of crap? Like, it's like their learning just hasn't evolved. They're like apes, really. But I mean, he's just starting to realise this. Yeah, I mean, that's quite funny, really. But you know, again, you know, all roads lead to BSV. Because all roads lead to the genuine Bitcoin. Because the genuine Bitcoin is the only way to commoditize data amongst this entire shit show of this shit coins in the crypto market. You know, crazy. Let's see what else we got to report on. Check this out. Sal the Algorist has said here, going live this week with the famous or infamous Dr. Craig Wright to talk blockchain, privacy, Satoshi's identity, and the future of peer-to-peer cash. Don't miss this one. And that is, there we go, we'll have that one up there. Wednesday, the 11th of June, which is today, 7:30 p.m. EST. Oh, fantastic. Looking forward to that. Might be a little bit late for me, but I will definitely try and catch up and record it. So that, yeah. Very exciting. Looking forward to that one. Excellent. It'll be the first time I've actually heard Sally Mayweather talking. Although I did actually hear the podcast that he said that he interviewed Craig on before for the first time the other day. I was like, oh, that's what he sounds like. You know, I wasn't sure if it was a guy or a girl or what. But anyway, now we know. Check this one out. So I've got to read this one. So Craig has said here, in the thread related to Captain BSV, when he said how much BSV is a respectable amount to have, Truth Machine has said to the world it is a shame and embarrassment to support or have BSV. The truth has become a reproach to the foolish. And Craig has said in response to that, check it out, Isaiah 59:15, that's the King James version. Yeah, truth faileth, and he that departeth from evil maketh himself a prey. And the Lord saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. The lament of society, where truth is no longer welcome, and those who uphold it are persecuted or made into targets. The truth, like BSV, becomes a reproach, not because it is false, but because fools despise it. Absolutely, fools despising it. But yeah, truth faileth, and he that departeth from evil maketh himself a prey. So he that departeth from evil make himself prey. So in other words, he that no longer follows the evil narrative, goes along with what the powers that be want, will make himself prey. Oh, and the Lord saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. So in other words, nothing to protect those who have departed from the evil ways. The lament of society, where truth is no longer welcome, and those who uphold it are persecuted or made into targets. Yeah, again, BSV will change all of that, because now the truth can't be subverted, can't be deleted, can't be denied. That's going to be massive. That is going to be massive. All right, sweet as. I quite enjoyed this little post here. Your money is fake. Your food and water are being poisoned. All these wars are based on lies. Your country is run by a bunch of paedophiles, and you're all too distracted by bullshit to do anything about it. That is exactly what is going on. Whoa. Yeah, heavy stuff, but people are awake. People know. So let's get into this Captain BSV saga with the Sencora. So he continued saying, at BlackRock, what happened, James R. Mellor, and why did he start selling shares of Sencora before he died? BTC is effing cooked. So this was the post. He said, yes, BlackRock does hold shares in several of the companies that James R. Mellor has been associated with. Sencora, formerly AmerisourceBergen, as of December 31st, 2024, BlackRock owned 16.4 million shares, equivalent to around 0.08% of its total portfolio. This represented a decrease of 8.64%, having reduced its stake by 1.55 million shares. Earlier in January 2023, BlackRock held 17.64 million shares, which was 8.7% of the AmerisourceBergen at the time. Wow. So he said, to be exact, 2 months before he died, something fishy. They said, did the Satoshi trial bribe go sour? And then BSV Hator, LARP lawyer, said, did you not claim your life was in danger? Are you bullshitting again? Captain BSV said, did you enjoy your time at the BTC Cabal meeting? I unfortunately had to listen in, and it was a tad bit embarrassing to say the least. I'm glad you mentioned me, though. He's BSV Hator. Said, are you sad that only me takes you seriously and no one else does? He said, my life is in danger. Everything I uncover will most likely leave me hit like James R. Mellor. Well, you know, the story continues. But I mean, that juicy as if that's genuine and he's really onto something and he's found it, like, you know, that could be big. Right, let's get on to CSW's post then. So his latest one, just 7 hours ago, he said, yes, no more bear markets because apparently asset classes now ascend by divine right. We've transcended mere mammals and entered a menagerie of economic delusion. The bear obsolete. We've replaced him with the bearable, a docile creature fed on ETFs and buzzwords to sedate by institutional liquidity. To ever roar again. Next up, the lemming cycle, a marvel of modern speculation. Creatures with unwavering confidence and no depth perception, sprinting towards the cliff with spreadsheets in hand and podcasts in their ears, chanting, "It's different this time," in perfect unison. And who could forget the Phoenix Swan, that glorious beast of mystic ascent? It rises from the ashes every quarter, reborn in venture capital and vanity metrics, only to explode mid-air in a shower of governance tokens and unpaid invoices. But yes, do continue explaining how markets have matured. It's adorable. I do enjoy Craig's sarcastic humour. Very witty, I think. Bitcoin Magazine here posted just in, Michael Saylor said the bear market is not coming back and Bitcoin is going to $1 million. I mean, who knows? I mean, the market is just absolutely crazy. But I mean, all that's doing is actually just, pumping Craig's bags. I mean, imagine if BTC went to $1 million, which we know we're aiming at, but I mean, this is BTC that's just simply pumped by Tether. I mean, the selling volume on trying to get it that high would be huge, as traders are cashing out, into fiat currency while it was doing that. Jeepers. Another post here from CSW saying, today I shall post on macros I use in my writings. These macros aren't new opcodes, they're second layer script constructs compiled down into valid original Bitcoin script using existing opcodes only. Think of them as macro definitions and expanding into deterministic opcode sequences. Entirely legal under the original protocol rules, but they will allow for transactions that are simpler to code. For example, op-xswap simply expands to a known sequence of stack manipulation codes like op-over, op-rot, and op-nip. Depending on depth, op-xdrop uses op-pick and op-roll to simulate removal of elements at path op-hashcat. Leverages a combination of op-dupe, op-hash256, and op-cat where enabled to achieve hash-preserving behaviors. What we're really doing is constructing a compiler to macro preprocessor and rolls these patterns out. No protocol change, no opcode addition. The base script maintains intact. The macro represented reusable templates which compile into original opcodes and execute as expected on a VM. If you're interested in how these get built step by step or want examples of constructing such a macro layer, I'll be posting more details on this later today in a Substack article. It'll cover macro expansions, compiler structure, opcode validation, and why this keeps Bitcoin script intact while allowing far more expressive development. Fantastic. Loving that. There is so much more to learn. So much to get into. Like, never a boring moment in Bitcoin, ever. People say that their lives are boring. Get involved in Bitcoin, jeepers. You've got to deal with technology, you've got to deal with law, you've got to deal with economics, you've got to deal with politics. Like, jeepers. So talking about dealing with politics, let's get into this. CSW has said Roger Ver's not in prison for exposing some grand US government conspiracy. He's not a martyr. He's not a bloody whistleblower. He's in it for tax fraud, full stop. I spoke to him about it years ago. I told him plainly, clean it up, pay what's due, move on. He laughed. Thought he was above the law. Thought Bitcoin made him untouchable. He could have paid a fraction of his holdings, kept his freedom, his smirk and his delusions intact. But no, he thought mockery was a shield. And that's not even the most grotesque part. What made my skin crawl was when he started drifting into that repugnant swamp of free speech absolutism. Not as a principle, but as a playground for filth. He wanted child exploitation platforms, not hidden in code, not quietly wrong, deliberately flaunted. Because to him, if the government said it's a criminal, it must be righteous to host it. Don't polish it up and make it a myth. Make a myth of him. He's not a political prisoner. He's a narcissist who mistook recklessness for rebellion and filth for freedom. Yeah, I mean, society needs a balance, because otherwise you're never going to get the proper wrong uns, like, doing wrong things on there. It's all about holding society accountable to the moral standards and the law and the constitution and everything. And the only way you can do that is with a private network. But they obfuscate privacy for anonymity, and they purposely confuse the two, thinking they can get away with it. But an anonymous network is centrally controlled by those who are accountable to nobody, and they're the only ones who are anonymous. But then they have an economically worthless network because they're the ones in complete control of it. They can do things that nobody else would know about because they have anonymity and complete autonomy of it, meaning it's no longer a commoditized network. That's the entire point, but I'm guessing it's a stretch beyond them, to actually fully understand that, really. Great articles, though. 15 minutes gone already. Right, let's have a look at these articles here by CoinGeek. So they've said here, how T guarantees trust in accounting. BSV as utility blockchain aims for use cases with trust. That sounds quite good. Ageless Republic is open world. Yeah, okay. Bitcoin halving aftermath. US advances crypto market structure bill. How BSV can end the age of SSN based identity theft. And BitFuFu's record-breaking output demonstrates mining dominance. I'm not going to read all three of those, but I mean, just see what's going on here. So BitFuFu's record-breaking output demonstrates mining dominance. Singapore-based BitFuFu, listed on the Nasdaq, announced a record-breaking performance in May 2025, achieving a hash rate of 34.1 exahashes per second and mining 400 BTC, a 91% increase from April. This surge reported on June 4th, 2025, underscores BitFuFu's growing dominance in the block reward mining sector, driven by its cloud mining platform, strategic expansions, and efficient hardware deployments. Despite financial challenges in Q1 2025, the company's operational success highlights its reliance and adaptability in a competitive landscape. This article explores the factors behind BitFuFu's record output, its implications for the mining industry, and the challenges it faces moving forward. Interesting. BitFuFu's May performance, detailed in a company press release, marks a 20.5% month-over-month hash rate increase, with 357 BTC produced by cloud mining clients and 43 BTC from self-mining operations. The company's total power capacity reached 651 megawatts, a 15% jump from April, spread across facilities on 5 continents. Woof. Whew. This growth was fueled by the full month utilization of additional mining hardware deployed in April, primarily Bitmain's S21 series miners, known for their efficiency at 19.1 joules per terahash. BitFuFu also added more machines in late May, setting the stage for potential gains in June. The company's cloud mining platform, which accounts for over half of its revenue, saw its user base grow to 615,559 registered users by May's end, reflecting strong demand for accessible mining solutions. Okay, so just going on about their efficiencies. Yeah. Demonstrates okay, I was just going on about them increasing efficiencies and becoming dominant in the mining market. Thought there might be something more to that about them, how they were overtaking other miners and stuff like that, or yeah. Let's see what this one says. How BSV can end the age of SSN-based identity theft. In an age defined by digital transformation, the persistence of outdated and insecure systems stand in stark contrast to the rapid pace of innovation elsewhere. Perhaps nowhere is this contradiction more evident than in how personal identity is handled in the United States. At the center of this broken model is the Social Security number. A 9-digit relic designed in the 1930s to track earnings and benefits, not to serve as a universal password for a person's entire life. Yet today, the SSN is treated as exactly that. It has become a linchpin of identification, verification, and authorization across financial services, government programs, employment processes, and healthcare access. This problem is simple. SSNs were never built to be structure. They're static, easily copied, and universally accepted across countless platforms with minimal safeguards. Once compromised, they provide a direct gateway for identity thieves to wreak havoc on a person's credit, finances, and personal reputation. Compounding the crisis is the role of credit reporting agencies such as Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, which have turned the mass collection of sensitive personal information into a multi-billion-dollar business. These institutions, operating with limited transparency and little consumer oversight, store enormous amounts of data in centralized servers. These databases, frequently targeted by cybercriminals, are an open invitation to large-scale breaches. The infamous 2017 Equifax breach, which exposed the sensitive data of more than 147 million Americans, was not an anomaly. It was an inevitability. The scale of damage from identity theft is staggering. Victims often spend years recovering from unauthorized loans, ruined credit scores, fraudulent tax filings, and emotional distress. Yet the response from institutions remains inadequate, with most reforms offering little more than cosmetic fixes. What's needed is a fundamental redesign of how identity is stored, verified, and controlled. This is precisely where the BSV blockchain steps in, not as a speculative asset or a digital fad, but as a robust infrastructure to rebuild identity from the ground up. BSV, or Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, is a public, scalable, and regulation-friendly blockchain that emphasizes data integrity, immutability, and micropayment functionality. Unlike other blockchains plagued with high transaction fees and congestion, BSV is purpose-built to handle enterprise-level data operations at low cost and high throughput. This makes it uniquely positioned to support a decentralized identity system capable of replacing insecure legacy models. At the heart of this new model is the self-sovereign identity. Is that what self-sovereign identity, SSI? Rather than relying on a central authority to issue and protect your identity, users on the BSV blockchain can establish digital identities backed by cryptographic keys. These identities can be enriched with credentials issued by trusted institutions such as governments, schools, employers, or banks, and anchored to the blockchain through hash records. This creates a verifiable trail of trust without revealing private information unless explicitly authorized. This model prevents the wholesale leakage of identity. A person no longer needs to share their full birth date, address, or SSN to prove they meet certain requirements. Instead, they can present digitally signed assertions such as over 18, US citizen, or employed by X company, without disclosing sensitive background data. Each interaction can use single-use credentials, ensuring that even if a data packet is intercepted, it cannot be reused or exploited elsewhere. Oh, that is ace. That is ace. Loving the sound of that. Loving the sound of that. Right, 22 minutes gone already. Just quickly look. Michael Saylor rejects crypto winter fears, says Gregcoin's going to 1 million. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like, talking at, well, who knows? Yeah, it's entirely dependent on Tether, you know, unless he's in bed with Tether and he knows something we don't, like insider trading. You know, he's talking out of his ass, basically. Check this one out. So, new Gregcoin treasuries may crack under price pressure. Strategy, that's Michael Saylor's company, has inspired a wave of copycats to join the corporate Gregcoin treasury wave. But they haven't been battle tested and entered a higher average price. A growing number of publicly listed companies is announcing plans to add Gregcoin to their corporate treasuries, and the trend is beginning to raise eyebrows. In the 30-day span to June 11th, at least 22 entities added Gregcoin as a reserve asset, according to GregcoinTreasuries.net. The buying spree was popularized by Strategy, formerly MicroStrategy, whose aggressive Gregcoin accumulation blueprint has inspired a wave of imitators. While some companies are praised for their strategic vision, critics point out that others are entering the space despite weak financials, using Gregcoin as a lifeline rather than out of long-term belief. What worries me is the copycats. Fakhul Mai, managing director of Go Mining Institutional, told Cointelegraph. Yeah, you know. Oh, it's just massive amounts of speculation. Oh, it's done this in the past, therefore it will do it again. There is no substance to any of the bullshit that they're coming out with. None. There's no substance in the graphs either. You know, just repeating patterns. I'm afraid not. You know, a Ponzi scheme repeats itself until it doesn't, and then it collapses. That's what's going to happen. This one's a bit spicy though. Look, Gregcoin price bounces to 108k as a millionaire whale goes 20x long on BTC. Analysts say Gregcoin could break its all-time high within 1 or 2 weeks, following breakout patterns seen recently in gold and the S&P 500. Nothing to do with it. Key takeaways: a newly created whale wallet opened a $54.5 million 20x long position on Grapecoin at $106,000. Bitcoin is $108,000 as US-China trade talks and bullish equity forecasts lift market sentiment. Analysts expect Grapecoin to break its all-time high within 1 or 2 weeks, mirroring recent breakouts in the gold and S&P 500. Yeah, but we heard the other day on MEXC when they were saying that it was just a glitch when the price went down. It was just simply the price going down on the fascia. It didn't actually affect the price or anything like that. But apparently they liquidated all the longs. That one price drop liquidated all the long positions, which means they took the whole effing lot. An utter scam. Oh, it was just a fascia. It didn't really affect the price. Well, why are you taking the longs then if it didn't affect the price? You know, absolutely outrageous what they've done. Outrageous. But anyway, you know, people not paying attention to what's really going on. They have no clue. Whale already sits on an $11,000 paper profit, $11,000 paper profit. The wallet identified as 0x1F25 was created earlier today and properly funded with $10 million in USDC stable coin. The trader then opened a 511.5 BTC position on the decentralized exchange Hyperliquid using full cross-margin leverage. Whoa. Can we increase that? Full cross margin long. Leverage 20x. Value $54 million. Entry price 106,000. Oh, so it liquidates at 88,000. Well, I mean, if you've got that money to spunk, you know. With an entry price of $106,000 and a liquidation level of 88,000, the trader is currently sitting over 11,000. Oh, that's not a lot. Some traders believe the whale behind the wallet may be James Wynn, a high-profile hyperliquid trader who recently suffered massive liquidations. Oh, he's going to be chasing his losses. He's going to be chasing his losses. Oh dear, oh dear. He doesn't know that the market is absolutely and utterly rigged against him. Utterly rigged against him. It's digital. Can't not be. Nobody's gonna, well, they'll let a few people win, but the majority of people lose. You know, Wynn lost an initial $99.3 million. I mean, why do you even need to gamble when you've got $99.3 million? If you're worth $99.3 million, what are you trying to prove? You know, go back, sit on a beach, build something, and you're gambling with this shit. You know, 99.3 million. I can only imagine being worth that amount. Jeepers. As two long positions totaling 949 BTC were wiped out. A week later on June 4th, he took an additional $25 million hit when 240 BTC and another leveraged position were liquidated. Despite these setbacks, Wynn has quickly opened fresh megabets and maintains a pattern of entering new high leverage trades, matching the aggressive style behind this wallet. Oh my goodness me. Oh my god. $99 million. You got nothing better to do with yourself other than gamble it away. Jeepers. Right, let's have a quick look at the figures. We got Grapecoin $110,000. Bitcoin just $34. So again, Grapecoin increasing that margins. Hash rate 0.04. Network nodes 0.18. Transactions 51.53. So over 50% of the market. But block size 91.3. Juicy block sizes coming through: 58, 64, 253, 81, 110, 34, 30, 82, 199, 52, 12, 19, 35, 13, 23, 24. So that means we've got more data in this one block mined by Tal of 199 megabytes than we have in the entire column here over on Grapecoin. Absolutely hilarious. It's currently 80,750 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin than Grapecoin. Mining genuine Bitcoin, though, at a 61.3% comparable loss. That means the miners will be refusing to mine Grapecoin. They'll be like, no, it's not worth the risk. We know what we've got our hands on here. You know, we are not going to risk being the one left holding the bag when the music stops. You know, no way. Why would we? When we're doing exceptionally well for ourselves at a moment, you know, because there's like 5 miners on it, all with a decent share, knowing what it's going to be worth in the future. Oof. 8.3% mining is more profitable to mine on Fisher Price Cash. 4.5% more profitable to mine on B Crash. That's interesting. Let's have a look at the politics, because the politics is in the pie charts. As I said before, here we go. Let's have a look at this. Global hash rate 7 days. Have we got a bit foo-foo on here? Let's have a look. I mean, is it a pool? Spider Pool, Luxor, Sec Pool, Binance Slush, SBI Crypto, Ultimus, BTCC, yeah. Ocean, Poolin, Nice Hash, CK Pool, a Mining Dutch, Tau, Solar Pool, 2 miners, OK Miner, Mole Pool. Alright. So great coin miners, other miners 4.1. And we got Slush, Binance, Ultimus, Sec Pool, Luxor, Spider Pool. B Crash. Is Mining Dutch on there? Oh, look at that. Mining Dutch. Heavy on B Crash. Heavy on B Crash. That's quite funny. Is that B Crash? Whoa, that was B Crash, but we got Fisher Price Cash, other miners here with 56.9% on there. Mining Dutch still got a little bit on Fisher Price Cash as well. But other miners 56.94. Alright, so yeah, we'll have to have a look at the mining on what's on chain, because CoinDance doesn't like showing us them. So confirmed transactions 378,741. Kuv 35.8. Tal 28.3. QD Link 18.24. SA100 13.51. A Gorilla Pool being squeezed down to 4.05, but still 5 miners on there. Not bad. Let's have a look at 365 days of Bitcoin history, with it being the 11th of June. So check this out. On the 11th of June 2009, this was in the Marty Malmy emails. It was written, someone came up with I think it was CSW wrote that. He said, someone came up with the word cryptocurrency. Maybe it's a word we should use when describing Bitcoin. Do you like it? Oh, here we go. That's the one. Someone came up. There we go. Someone came up with a cryptocurrency. Maybe it's a word we should use when describing Bitcoin. Do you like it? He said, and this was from my mouth. He said, there's a lot of things you can say on the SourceForge site that I can't say on my own site. Even so, I'm uncomfortable with the explicitly saying consider it an investment. That's a dangerous thing to say, and you should delete that bullet point. It's okay if they come to that conclusion on their own, but we can't pitch it as that. That's true. Yeah, can't look at it as an investment. It sounds good. The peer-to-peer cryptocurrency could be considered as the slogan, even if it is a bit more difficult to say than the digital peer-to-peer cash. It still describes the system better and sounds more interesting, I think. I could notify the mailing list about the new sites and invite them to write on the forums and to the wiki. So there we go. There were. That's when they said somebody came up with a word. Came up with a cryptocurrency. So that was the 11th of June 2009. And then just 7 years later, check this out. There was the Coin Rush Coin One global event at the Scottish and Southern Electricity Arena, Wembley, London. And this was Dr. Ruja Ignitova literally just, jumping on the bandwagon of Bitcoin's rise in price, saying we're going to have one coin. This was absolutely nuts. The one coin fiasco. Literally, it was just a spreadsheet that they had. They literally didn't even have a blockchain. And it was the blockchain developer that they approached who blew the whistle on them. They were just like, all right, we need you to create a blockchain. Oh, really? For which network? OneCoin. Oh, what? You mean one coin that's already a substantial amount of money? What? You mean you haven't even got a blockchain behind it? Honestly, absolutely hilarious. Let's see what this is. That That must have been a commercial for it. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. There she is. The crypto queen herself. Whoa. Whoa. So that was the OneCoin event teaser. There we go. June the 11th, 2016. Whoa, look at that. Flashcards and all that kind of stuff. Whoa. Whoa. I mean, look, it was epic. It was massive. Whoa. Jeepers. Jeepers. Right. Well, there we go. The rest is history, as they say. Right. We will leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it so as ever. If you enjoy these updates, please ding your donations to your appreciation to either Satoshi at sendme.com, handcash.io, rockwallet.me, simply.cash, related.com or senti.ch. We'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. And as ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
2 years ago, you got SegWit, which we lied and cheated and stealed, and I was part of the lying and cheating and stealing to get SegWit, to get Lightning, which, by the way, had critical vulnerabilities and lost people's money.
The king still has one more move.
Remember, Bitcoin is BSV. Everything else is BS.